Good morning, and welcome to All People's Church, Unitarian Universalist. My name is Mary Ann Clark, and I am your co-celebrant this morning. In the pulpit this morning is our minister, Lori King Nelson. We especially welcome those who are visiting today. If you haven't yet done so, please sign in at the visitors table by the front door, where you can be placed on our mailing list and receive weekly emails and a monthly newsletter. And after the service is over, you are all invited to stay for our coffee hour and conversation. Oh, I'm sorry, it's potluck today. Potluck today. Okay. This morning, our light on social justice will be represented by Suzanne Halbert. There she is, Suzanne Halbert, and she is going to talk to you about social justice.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. I am Suzanne Halbert. I am a minister with the Disciples of Christ Church. I met Lori when we were going to school together a few years ago. And a part of that schoolwork was to do an internship. And I didn't really want to do anything in a regular church, so I decided that I would intern with LGBTQ Saves, which, as I'm sure that you know, has meetings out of this church. And I just wanted to give you some of my reflections about that time and just some of my impressions. It was really after my first group meeting that I knew that this is really where I needed to do my internship. When you walked into the room, you could just feel the love. You could feel the community. They would have weekly meetings. One week they would do crafts, expressing themselves, and they were always allowed to fully express themselves just as they were. My favorite week, though, was kind of a support group session where it kind of reminded me of my Al-Anon meetings, where we just talked about our strength, our hope, our wisdom, and it was really, really nice to see the youth encourage one another. And over my year there, I began to notice how when the new youth would come in, sometimes they would walk in the room, eyes down, body closed off. But over the weeks, I would notice, they were making eye contact. They were standing up straighter. They were initiating conversations. They were you could just see and feel their confidence as they grew to love themselves. Another thing that struck me is sometimes a parent would come with their child for the first meeting, and naturally, when the parent walked in, their face was tense. You could tell there was worry there. But maybe after about 10 minutes of them not taking their eyes off their child, you could just see the tension drain out of their face. They knew that their child was safe here. And when I was about 9 or 10, this is really when my justice work started. I lived in Lubbock with my grandmother, and we had a young man, about 10 years older than me, come out as gay when he went to college. His family was horrible to him, but thank God he had my grandmother to come over and talk to. And thank God that these youth have LGBTQ Saves. And they say that one doesn't volunteer somewhere without really getting helped more than the people they're trying to help. And this was certainly true for me. One thing that I got from LGBTQ Saves was hope. Hope that these youth will not only now survive, but they will thrive. And I know of one young person who has gone on to become a leader in LGBTQ Saves as well. And I also have the hope that one day we won't need organizations like Saves. But sadly, that time has not come yet. But I know that Saves will continue their work with the youth until there is not one person left who doesn't love themselves for who they are. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Suzanne. And now, please settle comfortably for our musical prelude.
Misha. Yes, please. We were so fortunate last night to be here for the concert with two amazing pianists, one of them right here, and two pianos playing together. It was just, you will have a chance to experience that 2 weeks from now, and don't miss it. We're going to send out all the information you need about it. I also want to say thank you to my friend Suzanne, who came and told us about her experience with LGBTQ Saves. That organization was also a lifeline for Dimitri. Yes, and he credits that with really, really helping him open up and be who he needed to be in high school and when he transitioned to college, which is where he actually started doing his real transition. And so I will forever be indebted to Sharon and Bertie and people like you who give their love and their time to make sure that our children thrive and survive. Yeah. Let's call ourselves to worship. Spirit of life, with my breath, connect me to the heart of the world and back to this very moment. Self, what is the kindest thing you could hear at this moment? Self, I love you.
We now invite you to rise in body or spirit for the chalice lighting, our opening hymn, and our spoken affirmation. Our chalice lighting words are from Andrew Pacula. Come into this circle of community. Come into this sacred space. Be not tentative. Bring your whole self. Bring the joy that makes your heart sing. Bring your kindness and your compassion. Bring also your sorrow, your pain. Bring your brokenness and your disappointments. Spirit of love and mystery, help us to recognize the spark of the divine that resides within each of us. May we know the joy of wholeness. May we know the joy of being together. And now David is going to give us some instructions for our opening hymn.
The opening hymn, number 188. We're going to do it around. We'll split the congregation in half. This will be my group, number 1. Group number 2 with Dennis. We're going to sing through the whole thing together, number 188, and the word on the screen. And then after we're through the whole thing, group number 1 will start, and then Dennis will lead in group number 2, and we'll sing it through twice. So total 3 times.
Thank you, David and Dennis. Please join now in our affirmation. The words are in the order of service and also projected on the screens. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. The young and the young at heart are now invited to come forward for our time for all ages here at the front of the chancel.
Yeah, there's quite a few today, I think. So while I have a moment before they walk in here, I'm going to let you know that our theme for this month is cultivating compassion. And we actually have a packet that we're going to be sending out as a link to everyone. And it'll give you lots of different ways that you can work on yourself over the month. Some meditations, some little prayers, some things to think about that'll have you thinking about how compassion works in your life too every day. So be on the lookout for that email. Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you. I like it more now than I did a couple of weeks ago.
How could you not resist the color?
Because, well, no, I love the color. I picked that out. But I didn't like having to push it around the uphill streets of San Francisco.
You were in San Francisco?
I was. Really? Wow. We're always traveling, aren't we? Everybody's going somewhere.
The 25th of this
going to Great Wolf Lodge with her friends. Oh, I like that. That's a lot of fun.
Friend that his birthday party is going to be there, and my friend's birthday is on the 28th. So
Oh, okay. Well, we're talking about compassion this week. Do you know what compassion is? It's kind of like when you feel. Somebody give me a definition of compassion. Okay. Being kind even when you disagree, caring about other people. That's perfect. I appreciate that. I love audience participation. So what about when we're trying to feel like compassion for ourselves? That's harder, isn't it? Do you ever get angry with yourself? Yeah. Do you ever get angry with yourself? Sometimes, yeah. I know I do. Your neck hurts. Sometimes I get like so angry with myself that I don't even know why I'm so angry. And I have to stop and think about it. About why I'm so angry. You know, sometimes you can snap at somebody else and it's not because they did anything. It's because we're just already in a place like we have a suitcase and it's filled with all the things that we think we've done wrong, and we're carrying that around and being mad about it. Yeah, yes, your head is the suitcase. Very good. I like that. Yeah. Well, sometimes I'm so filled with things I think I've done wrong that my head is about as big as this suitcase. Yeah. And so what do we have to do for ourselves in those situations? Of course, she has the answer.
take a deep breath and try again.
Take a deep breath and try again. Yeah. Do you think that helps?
Yes.
If you take a deep breath and then kind of try again, instead of beating ourselves up for stuff, right? Yeah. So that is called self-compassion. So we can't be really, really good to other people unless we learn how to be really, really good to ourselves. Okay? You're usually good? Yeah, well, you know what? We're all a work in progress. Isn't that right? We are working on this within ourselves every single day, and we're old. So we're not going to, we're old and we're still working on it. So we're not going to fault you for making a mistake with it now and then. Okay?
Wait, this matches the color.
Okay, so it does. Here's what I want you to do. Oh, do you want to say something?
Yeah, some people say 30 is old. I don't think 30 is that old. I count old as like 6.
I love you so much. Some people say 30 is old, but he doesn't think so. 30 is not that old, right? Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, I want you, throw it in. So I want y'all to take one of these clips, and every time you get mad, I want you to look at it and just run it through your fingers and think about how good of a person you are and how you deserve to be able to make a mistake now and then, and it's okay to be angry sometimes. Right, even then. But I also want you to take an extra one. So I want you to take 2 of these. And I want one for you, and I want you to give one to somebody else that you think needs to have more love for themselves, okay? So take one for yourself.
I think they're pretty, so I need to get one for my friends.
Okay,
I have a friend too.
okay.
I'm gonna make it.
Ronan, are you going to come up and take one?
Can I give one to my grandma?
You can take two. So whoever you're going to take one for.
I'm giving one to my friends. To my friends. This is
Okay, decisions are hard. I had too many choices here. Has everybody got one?
I got one.
Ronan, did y'all get two?
You want
Okay, we need two. All right, there we go. Okay,
to give this to my friend in her birthday present?
well, I want y'all to be good to yourselves this week, okay? Say nice things about yourself and to yourself. They do look like earrings. They're adorable. All right, y'all go have a great week. We're going to sing y'all out, okay? What's in the suitcase are our feelings.
Well, that
Yeah.
was short.
It really is kind of empty. I think I have a toothbrush in there.
Well, that was short today.
You what?
Well, that was short today.
It was short. Next week we'll have a story.
The offering we take each Sunday is an opportunity to recommit to this place and to these people. It is much a ritual as singing together, lighting our chalice, or reciting our unison affirmation. It is a reminder of that form of love we call generosity. It is how we show that we believe it is important to worship together, to help our community, and to say yes to the values of our faith. It is our custom to share the undesignated cash offerings that are collected each week. We do this on a quarterly basis for a nonprofit or charitable organization. Our current Share the Plate recipient is the Wellman Project. The Wellman Project is a resource center where teachers can obtain free supplies donated by local groups to be used for creative reuse in the classroom and beyond. If you prefer, donations can be made using the QR code that is on the back of the order of service. The offering will now be accepted. Will the ushers and the choir please come forward?
We have cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I have told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout day. When the moon sets its sail to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, oh, I will sing you a song someone sang once for me. May it keep you good company.
You know, we just don't get more wonderful things than this. The music we have every week and the leadership is just so great. I'm so grateful for y'all. Our reading this morning is by Andrea Gibson, Why Self-Love is So Hard to Achieve. Like so many of us, I've chased the ever-elusive concept of self-love for decades now. Yet it is only in the past 3 years that I can say I have genuinely experienced loving myself. Honestly, I thought it would involve a lot more bath bombs and "you are enough" Post-it notes stuck to my mirror. Through this time of self-loving, I have discovered that the phrase self-love is not only an inadequate way to describe the experience, but it may be a roadblock in the way of truly knowing what self-love is. When I am feeling what we call self-love, I feel the self fall away, and the love is not aimed at an Andrea-shaped target, but instead it is pointing everywhere, in every direction, at the whole of us, the collective, of which I am a part. In fact, only when I am experiencing this love does my sense of being separate from others reveal itself to be an illusion. That feeling, and feeling also feels like an inadequate word here, is the truest homecoming I've ever known. It's a boundless sense of being wholly welcomed into the arms of the universe, while simultaneously recognizing the universe's open arms as my own. I'm not always in this state, but when I am, I know it by the fact that I am no longer capable of living on Andrea Island with thoughts of me charting the course of my days. Me is joyfully replaced with we. The we I speak of here stretches beyond humanity to the tadpoles in the creek, to the rowdy rainstorm that flooded my basement, to the mourning dove perched in the honey maple tree watching me learn, to the ladybug who I suspect is a boyish ladybug like me, walking the tightrope of my lifelines while I carry her outside to sunbathe atop a kind and sturdy rock. Some of my best friends are rocks, says my friend Ethel. What is your definition of alive? Mine is experiencing this love and staying true to my commitment to finding my way back to it whenever I have lost my way. And to be clear, this love never depends on what I have or haven't accomplished. It doesn't even care that I'm a poet who wants to make beauty. Because I am, we are, without any doing, beauty. This love applauds my beingness. Love loves me simply because I was born, and will love me, love us, after we depart from these temporary bodies. Does loving ourselves simply for being without requiring ourselves to change to be deserving of love mean we should stop growing? Of course not. It means growing for a different reason. Growing for the same reason the honey maple grows. Because it loves to grow. Because growing is how it loves. The first time I experienced this love, I was shook by a realization. I had never not loved myself. I only thought I hadn't. By that, I mean, this love is always ringing through the essence of every being. It is the same love the squirrel experiences, the aspens, the bioluminescence in the sea. Not loving ourselves, I've come to know, is a very human concept. We don't have to strive or achieve something to love ourselves. We only have to strip the thought that we should not love ourselves away. to see that we have been loving ourselves all along. Want to know some more good news? This kind of love will love us even though it knows we have not always been good. This kind of love knows that even a big heart can get lost in the canyon of an old wound. This love weeps compassion through every mistake I have ever made, cradles me in the word human, and cherishes my spirit because I am not exceptional. The word because is vital in that sentiment. Why were we taught that to be worthy of our own love, we have to be exceptional? Being exceptional means to be better than others. If my lovability depends on being better than others, then my lovability depends on others being less than, and is therefore not love. When I'm feeling this love, it thrills me to see that I am nothing special. Nothing special is such a massive relief. It frees me from the deadening demands of comparison. It erases the possibility that I could ever unwin my own love. And it roots me in the most transformative learning of my life. When I am truly loving myself, I am, in fact, loving everything, all of us, at once. At this time in our service, we pause to honor and to give time and attention to those things most important to us. We gather here for healing and for peace in our hearts and in the world, and to honor our time together with the shared stories and news from the congregation. Each week there is a journal outside the entrance to the sanctuary where you can write messages of memory or hope. We honor these messages by lighting 3 candles here next to our chalice. Also, at any time during our service, you are welcome to come forward and light a candle in our meditation center here next to the side of the chancel. Today, from our book of memory and hope, we include the following. We have a joy at the concert held here last night, and by the musical excellence of Misha, who graces us every week with his presence and his music.
Thank you so much.
A true friend of the earth left us this week. Jane Goodall passed away at the age of 91. Her like will never be seen again. Settle into stillness. Begin with your breath. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Inhale deeply. Feel your body soften. Acknowledge the sacred. As you breathe, remind yourself that you are a sacred being, not because of what you have done or what you will do, but simply because you exist. Just to live is holy. Embrace your perfect self. Bring to mind the idea that you are whole, even in the broken places, even where it hurts. Visualize yourself as a mosaic or a tapestry made up of beautiful and imperfect pieces. Affirm that your flaws and weaknesses are part of your journey, not a corruption of your worth. Soften your inner critic. Notice any negative self-talk, and instead of pushing it away, just acknowledge it with generosity, gentleness, and curiosity. Forgive yourself for those moments of self-doubt or shame. Radiate your love. Reflect on how your self-love can radiate outward. As you learn to treat yourself with kindness and respect, you can offer more compassion to others. Now let's return to the present. Let go. Gently release the meditation, knowing that the sense of self-worth you have cultivated remains with you. Reconnect with your breath. Take a few final deep breaths. And when you're ready, open your eyes and carry this feeling of inner love into your day. While you complete your meditation, Misha will grace us with some meditative music. Misha. So, I had already been told that if I planned to pack my largest suitcase, I would not be receiving help toting it around. To be fair, I packed for a month rather than 2 weeks. You know, for the cold Alaska weather and the 2 formal nights. My reasoning was that I wanted to look cute, even if I was mucking through mud and wilderness. My oldest said I was packing like Ginger from Gilligan's Island, taking everything I owned for a 3-hour tour. So my suitcase was filled with sneakers, 3 pairs of all-weather boots, hoodies, sweaters, formal dresses, and the shoes, of course, jackets, raincoats, jeans, leggings, packed to the point where when I approached the counter, the agent strained to put it on the scale, looked at me, then lifted it until I was under the 50-pound limit. I thanked him, wiped the sweat from my upper lip, knowing he had saved me $100. Arriving in San Francisco, I rolled my suitcase out to the bus stop for the trip to our hostel. A bus trip that stopped quite short of the destination, meaning that I would have to push that suitcase uphill for an unknown number of blocks. For the next 40 minutes, I became more and more irritated at that suitcase, my clothing decisions, and my insistence on bringing a different pair of shoes for each outfit. I was irritated that every street in San Francisco goes uphill, and that every other block, that suitcase was going to fall over. I was irritated that every time I said suitcase, my brain changed it to Little Baron Trump's suitcase. I was hot and tired and really didn't care about looking cute anymore. I just wanted to get to the hostel and park that stupid suitcase. Suddenly, everything changed, and I was pushing that up a sidewalk filled with urine, feces, vomit, and humans of every race, ethnicity, and gender. Every person in some stage of the Fenty fold or ketamine lean, and a shopkeeper across the street yelling at them saying they'd better get over there or all the goods would be gone. Another yelling for them to ignore the first man and offering food to anyone in need. It was sensory overload. 1 minute I'm whining about my poor decisions, and the next I'm standing next to a man half folded over, unaware that he was not only holding a cigarette, but was also urinating. I turned sharply to get into the street, pretty horrified by what I saw. I thought, what if my suitcase rolled through all that? What if I have to throw it away? And then I stopped. Suddenly, I was no longer irritated. I was full-blown angry with myself for being so, selfish. For the next few blocks, I took in this scene that looked like something from The Walking Dead. Sidewalks filled with people with vacant eyes, motionless bodies, as if they had just been unplugged, slowly bending forward until the last bit of energy was used. Now, inside my head was a constant criticism of my reaction, me berating myself for having selfish feelings, beating myself up for the sudden release of emotions that had been building since I had landed. As I slowed and took some deep breaths, leaning on that damn suitcase for support, I realized that it wasn't just holding clothes, it was holding a lot of emotional baggage. It held my fear of allowing anyone to see me lose control, my fear of being seen as flawed and human, and sometimes weak and lacking. I had started out angry with the suitcase and then transferred that anger right back to myself. Then I was angry with myself for getting angry with myself. Why is it that we try so hard? We go out of our way to love others, making them feel worthy and wanted. We bring a smile and light their way, bring words that calm their fears, a touch that can heal their hearts. That is actually from a prayer we used at one of the last meetings. What do we bring to ourselves? Ask yourself right now, how do you treat yourself in comparison to how you treat others? Why do we feel that loving ourselves is selfish and that forgiving ourselves is not necessary? Brandy Webb says, I know some people, me included, that struggle with truly loving themselves. I'm not meaning that we hate ourselves. We just struggle with loving ourselves by liking who we are instead of wishing to be something else. Some of us also struggle with loving ourselves by not forgiving ourselves when we make mistakes. Instead, we rehash the mistakes over and over, wishing we could go back in time and have a do-over. There are also some of us that struggle with loving ourselves because we're afraid that we will end up becoming prideful and start having the worldly self-love of caring about themselves more than we care about anyone else or esteeming oneself above others. What we need to learn is how to have divine self-love. Divine self-love is liking who you were created to be and projecting that onto others. It's not prideful, nor is it self-condemning to the point where you have a prideful humility. It is being grateful for the divine in you, you as a unique, beautiful person. We can't love our neighbors correctly if we can't love ourselves correctly. But it's hard, right? In my October Spirit Matters article, I wrote this: compassion. Our theme for October is cultivating compassion. And I am trying to think of ways I can actually cultivate that. Most times we think that having compassion for others is what is meant here. It can be that also, but what about when we need to have compassion for ourselves? Like maybe giving ourselves a little grace when we respond a little bit sharper than we should, or when our first reaction isn't quite as loving as we try to be. Just because we occasionally don't live up to our own standards doesn't mean we should beat ourselves up about it. That is always a very important place to begin, because we need to be in a good space ourselves before we can take care of others. That can be so hard to remember, though, since we are often moving at light speed, trying to be all the things for all the people. How do we cultivate compassion within ourselves and for ourselves? One of my practices involves creating a peaceful and meditative space where I can sit quietly and identify what I need. Is it a day off? A problem needing a solution? A health concern? Assistance with a project? Or maybe I just need to say aloud the things weighing on my heart. And with all that's happening around us these days, that can be a huge weight. I can light a candle, sitting in silence as I clear my mind and heart, meditating, practicing mindfulness and empathy by this small act of kindness toward myself. Self-compassion is hard, for sure, but prioritizing our own emotional health is a critical step in being a loving and compassionate person out in the world. This world desperately needs that. I'm practicing self-love daily. Practicing is the key word here, because I still feel uncomfortable at times, but I keep at it. Gently. Remember the words of poet Andrea Gibson. Try softer. Honor wherever you are, whether the door to your life has blown off its hinges, or you find the simplest joy sitting on a patch of winter sun on that corner of the carpet where you love to stretch. Try softer, not harder, giving yourself a safe place to land your attention, resting in this threshold moment through which wind, snow, and light all enter alike. We all need to try softer with ourselves. We deserve to be treated gently, respectfully, lovingly, and it should begin right here, inside of us. I have added words to my meditation since that scene on the street in San Francisco. I am not perfect, and I can forgive myself for that. I can offer myself grace that gives me space to grow into a better person day by day. I am not perfect, but I am worthy of loving me. And when I can love myself, I can love others better. That night, after hauling that dang suitcase across the city, through the heartbreak of humanity, and then down a narrow spiral staircase into our room in the hostel, I allowed myself to feel what I felt. I forgave myself for being tired and angry. I prayed for those on the street, addicted and so near death. Then I sat down and wrote an email to Governor Gavin Newsom and San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie, relating my story and begging them to take action to save these lives that were no less divine than my own. My heart felt softer after that. There's a song by Jesse Wells called Horses. One of the lines lives in my heart. It's true what they say, I'm gonna die someday. Why am I holding on to all this weight? So what are you carrying in your suitcase? What kind of weight are you pushing uphill? Our closing hymn is number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Will you rise, embody your spirit, and join us in singing the closing hymn?
Our closing words are from Dr. David Breeden. Go out into the world, not to be perfect, but to practice, to be a practitioner of compassion. Wherever you go, may you seed compassion. May your hands remember how to tend, and your heart how to return when compassion is hard. For no garden grows in the day, but they grow. Go in peace and practice growing.
May you love the messiness of life. May you love yourself. May you love all you love well. Service has now ended. We ask that you join us in Coleman Hall for our potluck. Please stay and visit and eat. There's so much food.